You are live.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Parks and Recreation Board meeting. We'll call the meeting to order and we'll start off with Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first item on the agenda, is there any public comments not included on the agenda? We have a full audience tonight. Okay, we were going to do an introduction of Amy, and here she is calling. Are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Hi, Amy.
Okay. Hello.
Hey, just in time, we were going to introduce you.
Go for it.
Okay. I'd like to introduce Amy Currents. She's our newest member of the Parks and Recreation Board. And Amy, welcome. And you'll get to learn the this meeting schedule. Third Monday of the month, 6 p.m. And we're glad that you could join us by phone. Do you want to tell us a little bit about you?
Thank you for that. Sure. I live in Townsend, and I like it here. I've been here, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. And I like outdoors and recreation and fitness, and I thought this would be a good way to get involved with the community. And I own a stand-up paddleboarding company, so I teach, instruct, coach paddleboarding, sometimes put together trips with that, do kids camp, private events, so on and so forth. And then I'm also a certified eccentric fitness instructor, which was just another way for me to do outreach within my community and extended communities around Broadwater County, to help encourage movement and health and wellness. So, excited to learn more about the county. I graduated from the Big Sky Big Leadership program a few years ago, I think 23 or 24, I can't remember. And that was fabulous. I learned a lot about the county, the various amenities we have or don't have here, and agriculture within the county, utilities with the county, all that. So I just continue to learn more and more and more, and this will be fun.
Great. Well, we're happy you're here with us.
Thank you.
Hey, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Sorry, I walked out right at the wrong time on the public comment.
Oh.
And I needed to add something to that.
We can have it go back.
Can we go back?
Yes.
Is that okay? Thank you. The commissioners were talking and had, I know Debbie brought it up to both Nicole and I, that there is a desperately needed cleanup day at Connors Field. And if Parks and Rec wanted to address that, that would be great. And I think she did mention some paint, and assuming that we could probably get that donated. I don't know, what else did she mention? Anything else to you?
Madam Chair, can I add to that? Nicole Brown, Broadwater County Community Development Director. Commissioner Randolph and I did speak about this, and I'm sorry, I was going to talk about it during the Centerville Volunteer Days. No, you didn't. So I'm sorry that we didn't communicate ahead of time on public comment. Anyway, all of that to say, there have been some civic groups that have taken an interest in community cleanups. Church groups, they do different cleanup activities. Previously, one of the activities was Connors Field painting the parking bumpers and painting no, that was a not community service. Well, community service, I guess, when someone gets in trouble, a community service project. So two different, same word, different meanings, maybe?
No trouble.
Right.
No trouble.
Willingly and maybe not so. Anyway, painting the benches on the inside, but I think Commissioner Randolph was more concerned about the concessions shed needing cleaned up, and I have not been out that way for quite some time. I know many of you drive past that frequently, specifically Wendy. You probably drive by it several times a day past Connersfield. So maybe notice it a little more, of what needs to be done for cleanup. So really, this ask is simply for all of us to, or all of you board members, to consider a day of cleanup, maybe working with civic groups, working with church groups. What can we do to facilitate that? I don't know about the donation of paint or materials, but I'm certain we can get a donation of time from individuals. I know for my own self, I'm the Rotary Interact advisor, and my youth are always looking for projects, as well as the student council body. They're always looking for projects. So just something to maybe keep in the back of your head. Maybe let's come up with a list of projects that can be done there, and then quantify those with dollar amounts associated and maybe time to perform each action.
I'll be there a lot because we have baseball. We were supposed to have baseball tonight, but it got canceled, so I will check it out while I'm there too.
Okay.
See
Great. Well, we'll add that to the list, and maybe we can talk a little bit more about it when we do the Centerville, because it'd be good to get a date and then start recruiting some groups. If that's okay with everyone. Okay, thank you. Okay, we introduced Amy. It would be great if we could get at least one more member on the board to have an odd number, because right now we have 4. So if anyone is out and about, ask away to see if people would be interested in being on the Parks and Rec board. If they are, they just need to let us know.
Be nice to get a male voice too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might feel outnumbered, a little.
Yeah. Okay, review, discussion, decision of Parks and Rec board role, and that would be the bylaws, right, Abra?
Yes.
Okay, so let's see. We need to review the board's objectives, the bylaws, and provide an overview of roles and possible training opportunities for board members. So, let's see. Review of board objectives.
Yes.
Amy, can you hear me?
Amy, can you still hear us?
Uh-oh.
Hi, yes, I just muted myself. Sorry, it just took me a minute to get me off mute. Yes, I can hear you.
I'm going to send you a link. I'm going to text you a link so you can see what we're talking about. It's just at the county site. It'll have the bylaws and stuff. Abra has them posted with the agenda.
Thank you.
Yep. It comes up so weird.
So is this our annual review to look and see if there's any changes that we need to make?
Yep.
You know, speaking of our protocol on all of this, did we ever elect you into that position?
Yes.
I think that was, when was that,
January.
Was that in
January?
Was that in the January meeting? Okay, it seems like it was so long ago.
We didn't give her an option. Sorry, Carol. Congratulations.
My brain can't remember that far back.
So, clarification for me, if somebody can help me, since we only have 4 board members and we need a tiebreaker because for whatever reason, how would that work? Who would vote to, go ahead.
Madam Chair, can I respond? So typically, this is not a legal opinion, but typically on other boards, the commission liaison is the tiebreaker
Okay.
because they are an elected official. So even though they're not a member of this board, since they are an elected official, they have the ability to vote as a tiebreaker.
Okay, super.
Just, I'm speaking from other boards that have a commission liaison.
Okay, thanks. Okay.
And were we going to change the wording where it says no less than 5, or were we going to leave it and hope we can?
Recruit a 5th.
Yeah.
I think we need to try and recruit.
I think so.
Yeah. I think ideally we should have 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And it'd be nice to spread it out around the county. I mean, if we could get someone from the south end of the county, it'd be nice, or Winston,
Winston,
or
sure.
somewhere else other than just Townsend.
Mhm.
I believe you will have to recruit for that
Yeah.
directly. We put that with Kay. We already talked about this.
What's your question?
They could change it if they want to.
I don't think so. Smarter.
We'll just put it at 5. Madam Chair, if you want to change that in Article 2, Section 1 under members, you can. You guys have the ability to say we're just a 5-member board.
Oh, because I think it was 5, not more than 7.
Right,
Yeah.
and that was done a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Um,
I don't know that it matters. It doesn't really change anything. It is what it is with your membership, right? You can't force a 5th member to be on.
yeah.
And I think it was if there were lots of people interested in
Okay.
participating, it was going to be capped at 7. That was the idea.
Yeah.
I don't think we want to lessen that number below 5. So
No.
we just leave it.
Yeah.
One thing that I don't know if we have been doing a financial report at each meeting.
Where's that?
I mean, income coming in and it doesn't probably ever change, so I can certainly ask for one. If you want to know that, I can ask for them. I do with my other boards.
And so currently we have, is it
Nicole.
35,000?
Yeah, I haven't seen it now.
I'd have to look. I don't know. I won't know off the top of my head. Do you?
I hope it's
No,
something
after.
I'd have to-
something like that. So, the reason why I bring that up is, as we go down here and we start talking about grants and stuff, we may need to have some of that funds go to match for grants. So,
So what's in it?
it'd be good to know, yeah.
Yes.
Aubrey, you're getting that?
Yep, I can
Okay.
request it. I'll just request it every meeting like I do with my other ones.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So Article 4, Section 2 was the board's regular monthly meeting date, time, and location is the third Monday of every month at 6 p.m. in the Commissioners' meeting room of this building. Is there any appetite to move that to 4 or 5 o'clock?
Not from my side.
You like, Amy, the 6 o'clock's better for you?
Correct.
Okay.
Except for today, sorry.
Well, I think you're the only one actually working on the, other than the liaisons, so.
Yeah, I'm fine with 6
Okay.
o'clock.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a majority appetite to move it, by all means, please. And I will make every effort to, to still attend. That's just my 2 cents.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And I guess, to that point, if we can recruit somebody else, depending on, I know we can't really define the demographic of who we're looking for, but, if it helps recruitment efforts whatsoever, it might be something to kind of look at also. Like, if we're looking for someone who's not retired.
Yeah.
In there.
That's a good comment.
Just to be frank.
Yeah, definitely something to keep into consideration.
No offense, all you nice retired people.
So there really isn't anything in the bylaws that we need to change?
I don't
Is
think
I don't
so.
see any.
I don't see anything.
The only thing I guess I was wondering about on the first page, last paragraph where it talks about the board shall have the responsibility of establishing policy, short and long term goals of the board. Do we, I didn't know where the short and long term goals were.
I'm wondering if it was the purpose. That's not really the goal, so that's just to progress. No, I don't know.
You guys can make that say whatever you would
Yeah,
think it would be sufficient, honestly.
same either.
You could leave out that initial,
And just say establishing policy.
well, no, you could just say the board shall adhere to a policy of welcoming all comments from the community or something like that. Just skip the first 2 sentences.
I'm okay with it. I just want to make sure that if we have some goals that have been established previously, that we're moving forward, to demonstrate that we can meet those. And I didn't know if it was like related back to the parks and open space master plan and the recreation document.
Madam Chair, it wasn't related to anything specific when these were redone a couple years ago. And Jen, you correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was just trying to bring some more structure to what the board was doing. Really, if reviewing those plans and documents are important, which I think they are, you could also say that, like, the board shall have the responsibility of reviewing any park recreation plans or master plans on an annual basis or something along those lines.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think the goals were actually our plans.
Okay.
And I think you and Cheryl did, you and Wendy did review the plans. So, as far as policy, we follow the commissioner's policies.
It would be good to maybe, at least on the board, and this is just completely my opinion, because that was something that I was struggling with when I first got on the board. I was like, okay, what are we working towards and everything? And thank goodness we had the master plan and stuff. But it might be something that we might want to think about being general, but not boxing ourselves in with some language to where we can't meet it. And maybe the language there is fine, but we just acknowledge that we're working on the master plan and any other kind of plan that needs, and we know that we need to review this annually. We did that already by giving the commissioners the update, annual review and recommendations, but I just want to make sure that the board continues to move forward with making sure to implement things that are in the plan and anything else that might come up. And I don't know what that looks like, but it's something that I was just thinking of. So something to think about. I don't think we need to solve it tonight unless you guys want to.
Amy here, can you point me to the section of the bylaws where you reference goals?
Yeah, look on page 1, the first page, at the very bottom, Amy, where it says the board shall have the responsibility of establishing policy and short and long-term goals. On page 1.
Got it.
Got it?
Thank you.
Okay.
Yep, thank you.
You bet.
Yeah, I kind of second your request there. Like, you know, because we're at the service of the commission, so, you know, while we're not our own necessary entity or corporation or what have you, I feel like, yeah, it still would be nice to have pointed efforts, you know, like what are we working towards? So I guess my understanding at this point is what we're calling the master plan, right?
Uh-huh.
And I think some of those short-term goals are the cleanup, getting our feet on the ground at Centerville in accordance with the plan, getting a parking lot, encouraging the public to come out and help, and then, I mean, those are some short-term ones that we'd like to do this summer.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good start.
And some of those could turn into an annual thing.
Right.
So maybe, how about this, because it's 6:30, let's think about that language. And then if everyone's okay, let's bring some suggestions or recommendations back at our next April meeting and see if we can kind of work that out a little bit.
Okay.
What you want the bylaws to say is what you're...
Yeah, the short and long-term goals. I think it'd be nice to maybe explain that and clarify it a little bit more, what we're working towards, because the board will ebb and flow with different people, and it would be nice to have something in writing that folks can pick up and take forward so that they know what the goals are.
Well, and I think those long-term goals are what we paid for in that plan.
Yeah. And it may be that we just need to say master plan or something.
Right, change that instead of short and long-term goals of the board to
Yeah,
fulfill the intent of the master plans.
yeah.
Because we have both the recreational plan and the countywide recreational plan, then we also have the Centerville Connors Park
Yeah.
plan, the master plan for that, so.
And there might be something that comes up this summer that we need to work on again or something, and we can, I think it's good to be flexible.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Great. Any other comments on that, other than,
Roles and training opportunities for board members, that was a part of that.
Oh.
Where are we at?
No, it's right, it's on your agenda. Was after the bylaws, review the board's bylaws, then provide overview on roles and possible training opportunities on your agenda.
Oh, for board members, okay.
So we know what the roles are for chair, vice chair, and secretary. And I guess then if there's any possible training opportunities that come up, are people okay bringing those up and then discussion of what the training might be with a recommendation to the commissioners for one or all the board members to attend or something?
Well, and I do remember that you had sent out the Robert's Rules of Orders class that we did, and then the Parliamentary Procedures one as well. And those, I think, were countywide opportunities, so.
I don't think we were going to do those again this year. I think, if I remember correctly, it was going to be maybe every other year.
Okay.
Just because it takes a minute to organize, and while we have changeover in board members, not everybody, a lot of the same people tend to attend. And so give it a year, a breather in between.
Okay. Okay. But in any case, that was part of the network was through the county office as well.
Great.
Madam Chair, can I add to that? So there is an organization, MTRPA, Montana Recreation and Parks Association, MTRPA, if you just Google that. They're becoming more active. They have an annual conference. This year it's in Missoula. Unfortunately, that registration is full. It's March 30th through April 1st. Oh. But they do typically have a fall session. Last year it was in Billings. So, there would be a cost associated with attending, but maybe if it was worth it for a board member to attend even a fall conference. Mm-hmm. So I'll do better at kind of keeping up on when those conference dates are released and when the mid-year conference is released, and see if there's anything on the agenda worthwhile. Obviously, if it was something a little more approximate, say like Helen R. Bozeman, that there wouldn't be a hotel cost and mileage incurred, might be beneficial for someone to go. So I'll do better at paying attention to that and communicating with the board.
Yeah,
so
that'd be interesting. Okay, thanks. Okay, anything else? Any other comments? Okay, so took some notes, and we'll review the little bit of a language next meeting. Okay, next discussion is the checklist. Jen.
Okay, so, Amy, I'm sorry you don't have a copy of it. I did bring hard copies of the comprehensive project checklist for the citizens. And thank you to Carol for actually getting that put in some kind of semblance of order. And I added some things to it, but what I'd like to talk about is this is really to kind of get the project lead in the right mindset to what the commissioners need. And if you walk through the steps, it kind of guides them onto the items that they're going to need for their planning and their concept development, long-term maintenance, things for them to think about before they come to the Parks and Rec Board and submit their project proposal to the Parks and Rec Board, which was number 10. And there are subsets of each one of these, Amy, that that you know, especially working with your husband on construction projects, you're probably pretty familiar with a project checklist. Scope, design, community needs, benefits, timelines, funding sources. So this kind of sets what we had talked about in previous meetings. And then when they submit it to the Parks and Rec Board, if you look at the number 10, complete project proposal with the checklist established, is attached, cost estimates, maps, photos, drawings, maintenance plan, applicant contact, and then applicant available to attend a board meeting to actually present the project. And then what I envision is that if we as a board say, hey, this is one that we can get behind, and it looks comprehensive and it looks well done, then we can present it to the commissioners for approval. But what I did not, and Carol and I talked about this as well, I was trying to figure out how the lawyer, to what aspect do we need to present this whole checklist to the legal team to figure out if this checklist is comprehensive enough, or do we need the project itself to go through a legal review before it's built or before it's started? That was the quandary that we were talking about, trying to figure out how do the commissioners, at what step do the commissioners want to be involved in the planning effort, in the project effort, and the legality effort, or do you want to wait until after? What I'd hate to do is have them present it to the board, and we push it forward to the commissioners, and then, boom, there's some legal issue that we can't, or legal review that it needs to go through. I don't know at what point they should be considering that.
Well, I think, Madam Chair, if I may, I think if this is the agreed upon checklist, if the board is set on that, we can bring that back. I can bring that back to the commissioners and say, hey, here's what Parks and Rec is doing. This is what they're looking at. This is the plan. And then they can give feedback on that, and we can go from there.
I would like their feedback on it, because they make the final say in everything.
Yeah.
So I would like their feedback on it if we've got all of our, everything checked, what we would need. We might be missing something that we're not aware of.
Well, and it can be shared with legal too, to say, hey, are there any holes in this for an initial project? Because obviously it would be really frustrating for someone to take the time, go through this checklist, and then it's not what's needed, or something doesn't turn out. So I do also think with 2 liaisons here, at some point we kind of would know if there was a project coming forth as well. So you're kind of preparing, like, hey, this is what's being discussed at Parks and Rec. Same way that happens at the trust board. Someone's going to apply for this grant. We kind of know this is up and coming. Here's what's coming down the pipeline. So I will happily, when you guys decide on this, bring that back to the other commissioners and legal and see what the comments are.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Can you, obviously I don't have the checklist in front of me. I'm using my imagination. Can somebody describe an instance where said checklist might be applicable?
Where the checklist might be applicable?
Yeah.
Okay, so
So
this
in
is,
other words, I'm assuming like that as a Park and Rec board, we're assuming that there are entities that may have a project that they'd want to bring before the county. I don't know. That's why I'm asking the question, I guess.
Okay.
Where do we implement this?
okay, so here was our thought. There are, under the master plan, especially for Centerville, there were groups that were looking at doing pickleball courts, a peace pole meditation park, a dog park, a children's play yard. So if those entities go out and look at the funding and look at the grants and say, hey, we think we can make a go at it, then this checklist gives them an idea of the steps they need to go through to ensure a successful project and a successful follow-on funding mechanism for in perpetuity, what's the permits, the approvals. So I guess what I can just kind of step through, Amy, is there's subcategories to each of these titles, but so number 1 would be early planning and concept development. Have a clear project idea, identify the location, whether it's a park, a trail, a facility, or a specific site. Determine the primary purpose. Is it safety, recreation, accessibility, beautification, or maintenance?
Amy, I just texted you pictures of it.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, and then, so the next would be community needs and benefits, project scope and design, the cost estimates in their funding plan, What are their project costs and what are their funding sources? And then the timeline and that kind of stuff, permits, approval, compliance.
Okay, so that describes the checklist. And I guess my question is more directed towards, can you give me an example of a person or a group who would need to use that checklist, and how, and then secondary to that, how would they know? I guess. So, does that make sense? Because if I'm, if I'm like, oh, we should start a community garden or whatever, So I get my posse and I'm like, whatever, we got some land donate, we're doing this community garden. How do I know that I need to bring this, that I need to bring it before Park and Rec Board or, I don't know.
If it's on county land, and this is, it would be first of all, we'll do a follow-up article in the paper because we did do articles in the paper about the two plans. But there were already interest groups out there that were proposing projects, and we said, oh, wait a minute, you can't just go out on county land and start building. And that's why we came to the process of building a checklist for citizens and citizen groups that want, like Rotary or Lions, if they want to build on county land in accordance with these plans that we already have developed. This is how they would go about doing that. And these are some of the assurances that the county needs from those organizations or individuals so that we don't see something built and then abandoned or half done and then walked away, or it's not in conflict. It's not in conflict with another group that might already want that land or need, want to build as well. So it kind of puts a little bit of rigor into the development of county land for parks and recreation objectives. Does that clear it up?
Yeah, okay. Yep, that's very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, I think for sure we would need to make sure it's like on our website and an article in the newspaper, somehow get the word out that this is the protocol. Were you able to get that through text, Amy?
I got, oh wait, am I gonna come, now it came, yep,
Okay.
I got the verbiage, but yeah, I got the photos now. Yep.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
You bet.
So, Madam Chair, can I ask a question? Is there any way I can get a copy of that sent by email? Okay, thanks.
Well, and I didn't know if we want to sit and talk about it tonight and approve it or think on it for a little bit longer. I know we've gone back and forth on it a couple of times, but
Madam Chair, can I offer a suggestion?
Yes.
I think it would be beneficial to get it posted on the website to allow the public the opportunity to participate and comment, because there may be members of the public that are also interested in this project. And obviously, if they've not had an opportunity to view it, if you're getting it for the first time, the public will not be able to view it. So just a suggestion.
So Nicole, you'd want me to update that with the bylaws like I did tonight? It needs to be on the bylaw, with the meeting, with this meeting.
Yes, ma'am. Just to be able to allow the public to offer thoughtful
I have
comment
an
on
idea
it.
to segue with that.
so on this one, we need to put draft across the watermark on there.
My
then.
thought is, why don't we put this on a commission meeting and have one of you, so because like you're saying, you could, the public will comment on it. It would, if it was on the agenda with the specific of like, here's what we've put together thus far, we want to bring this to the commissioners, get the commissioners' thoughts, like that will allow us to like maybe review it. We can review it in public on the meeting. People can publicly feedback on it. I can see you're like.
I respectfully disagree, ma'am.
Okay, yes, please.
Madam Chair, may I respond to that?
What'd you get?
Well, my only thought is this is not a compilation of board input. This is one member of the board, which is fantastic, and likely the board agrees because it's been talked about at length, but the board will not be presenting it. Does that make sense? Because this board will not have the opportunity, you're receiving it for the first time tonight, is that correct?
Yeah.
So they will have not had the opportunity to review it to determine that the board is actually behind it.
Let me clarify, because that's a really good point. No, after the board decides what they think is good. Sorry, after the board decides what they think is good for the checklist, we can bring it back to the commissioners.
Yes.
Do it on an agenda. You know, we each individually look through things before the meetings, and then we can discuss it in the meetings, make some suggested changes, whatnot. If a member of Parks and Rec is there to kind of guide it and explain it, that's always optimal. But that was my thought.
No, I'm sorry. So you were next steps, Madam Chair. I was simply thinking it might be beneficial for you to not, I mean, you can certainly make your recommendations tonight, but to allow the public to view it in a Parks and Rec vein. Yeah. And then still comment at the commission meeting.
I was at next steps. You were here. We were talking.
So do we have a recommendation?
Thank you. Okay.
Okay, I would make a motion that we take I can send it to everybody electronically as well, that we take another month and take a look at it and come back next month and make a decision on whether we're going to accept this and push it forward for public consumption, or do we want to push it forward as a proposed draft for the checklist?
So are you guys saying that we should run this checklist through the community first?
I think that's what you're.
Is that what you're saying?
Madam Chair, can I respond? Yeah, that was my suggestion. Simply a suggestion. Just if you. I found, working through these documents, and obviously, but those of you that have worked in the government know, like the more forward-facing you can be with the public, it's not going to be something that you're caught at the end at the commission level, to where the commission, if someone comes to the commission meeting with public comment that maybe wasn't aware because you didn't allow, or I shouldn't say allow, didn't have the opportunity for them to view the document ahead of time to comment at the Parks and Rec Board meeting, they would make the comment at the commission meeting, which would then go back to the Parks and Rec Board and then back to the commissioners, just for fluidity. And that was simply a suggestion. You do with it what you will.
No, it's a great idea.
So Madam Chair, what is my understanding, because I'm the one that needs to be, so the next meeting, as you are looking at this, the next meeting that we have, I would need to post a copy online with the agenda. Is that correct, Nicole, or do you want it posted before then?
I think, well, it depends on what the board decides tonight. So
Okay.
we have a recommendation to take it back and review for a month. But I thought I also heard you say draft. So
This is a draft.
So you want, so your
If we're going to
recommendation-
put it out, my recommendation is put this out to the public as a draft for the month, and with the understanding that we will make a decision on it next board meeting, next month.
Okay, so recommendation is to put it on the website, probably present it to the commission or have the commission look at it with legal as a draft, obtain public comment,
Commissioners' comment, public comment, our input as a board,
and then at the next meeting,
compile it, look at it, and readjust.
okay.
As another thought, at our commission meeting, I can say, hey, Parks and Rec is, assuming everybody's watching the commission meeting, but you can say Parks and Rec is looking for feedback on a form, go to the website. It is easy to put it on under like news or public notices instead of just like buried in the Parks and Rec agenda too, because that's hard for people to find that. So I can get that. I can get the draft, but I'll need it emailed. And just asking for comments on this project. This is like a preliminary project checklist if you're interested in doing any type of project on county land.
Okay.
I guess whatever the board decides, they would like, whatever you decide today that you want to present to the public and what you would like to say in that presentation and asking for public feedback, I will translate to the website.
Okay, so see if I can follow everything. We have a motion on the floor asking that we come back in a month after public review, commissioner review, legal review, and board review to collect any comments and to finalize the comprehensive project checklist for citizens at the April meeting.
Correct.
Okay. All in favor?
Well, somebody's going
Or,
to
oh, second, yes.
I will second.
Okay, Wendy seconds, yes.
Any further discussion?
Any further discussion? Yes.
Briefly, I know, I'm sorry, I'm trying not to hold up your agenda. So just to set a timeline for this, I would suggest that you have it on the Parks and Rec meeting for April 20th, and then take it before the commission for potential final decision on the 29th. And the reason for not going for the 22nd, just in case there are any edits to be made from the Parks and Rec meeting, those edits can be made timely and posted timely. So just so, excuse me, staff is sticking to a timeline
Yep.
and noticing this appropriately.
Okay, that's a good timeline.
Excuse me. So the 20th for Parks and Rec, 29th for commission.
And one other note, just as the talking point is this checklist, it's right up on the top. This checklist helps community members prepare well-developed project ideas that are feasible, fundable, and sustainable. And that's the the talking point on this
Madam Chair.
right up front.
I would just say, keep in mind when we can, have a call to action or, share with people, hey, fill this out. People aren't just going to notice it, that it's there. Like we're going to, the board will have to let people know to go to fill that out once you guys have it approved. But remember, whatever write-up is with it, they don't have the knowledge that we do. Kind of like when Amy's asking about why would we have this project checklist? Like, why does that make, why would we do that? Most of the public will be like, well, why?
Yeah.
I mean, we don't want to necessarily solicit, hey, everyone, come on, come all projects, right? We've got master plans for the property that we do own. So projects that have to be done, I think it's good if there's people that are going to do it, but that, and I haven't gone through this in depth, but the longevity, right, of that project. We had talked previously about sponsoring, having a group sponsor, it's like a Lions Park or the Rotary Park or whatever.
Yeah, Lindsay, I think that was kind of part of my question too, is like, are we soliciting projects, right? And how do you
Right.
get this information to the public to get, approval or not without making it look like come one, come all project?
Right. Exactly.
Well, if I may, we're not necessarily soliciting for projects because we've heard the public input, it's in the plan. What we're doing is we're identifying the process for those groups who want to take on those pickleball courts or take on that dog park, and this is going to guide them to what they need to do.
It does, as a board, it guides us as well too. It kind of keeps us on our track of what needs to happen.
I'm going to pivot. Sorry. I'm going to pivot for a second as I'm thinking about this. Because I wasn't here at the last meeting, so I'm just seeing this for the first time as well. And I think it's a really good list. I appreciate the consideration because this has come up over and over when people want to do things. And the biggest issue was having those master plans done. I think this list, while I think we should get public feedback, I would like to share this with the commissioners first. I think that will help in, we don't want to, we're not really soliciting. Who wants to do projects on county land? We're not soliciting. We're really saying, should a group be interested in doing something or someone be motivated? An Eagle Scout group, whatever it is, we have guidelines for you, and this is what we need. The same as if you were coming to the trust board to get a trust board grant. Here's what the trust board grant consists of, here's when it's due, here's what's going to be looked at, et cetera, et cetera. So it's more it's more internal, I think is what I'm trying to say. It's more an internal document for us to say, it's internal for us to have our concerns checked off, right? Because the county, ultimately, the county has to say collectively, we support this project, right? And then all the boxes have been checked legally, or like the information that we need. So from that standpoint, I believe the commissioners should see this first. Whatever you guys decide is what you want to send forth to the commissioners. We'll pass it around. We'll let legal look at it. We can address those issues. Parks and Rec can work it out. If there's any major changes, whatnot, the board can do that. Then I think it's presentable to the public. If you want to wait and do that before it's finalized, but the public may be like, hey, we want to see this, 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 and this. And we might say, well, we can't do that, or that's not possible. So I'm saying put out as tightly constructed document as possible to the public if we're going to put it out to the public for their feedback.
Okay, so
So many words.
I don't know how to word this, new issue.
You have to amend the motion.
So based on the discussion, do we have an amended motion to the first motion to move forward?
So then the motion then becomes, as amended, that the comprehensive project checklist for citizens, draft checklist to be reviewed by the Parks and Rec Board and the commissioners and legal. And then becomes our statement to the public on what the requirements are should they want to do a project on county land in accordance with the plans.
Yeah, and
Okay.
honestly, I don't even know if you need a motion. I think it's just decide you're waiting to finalize this for a month.
Okay.
We'll take it to the commissioners and legal. The board makes whatever individual edits you want to make, bring it back in a month, and we'll all collaborate on what the final document is. That would be my suggestion.
Well, I think it'd be good to have amended a motion because with us being public tonight, then we can have it in writing that it's kind of an internal document. Get approval from the commissioners or feedback from the commissioners and legal, and then bring it back to the
Yeah,
board for
up
public
to you guys.
comment. Okay, so
Yes, and I
Okay.
would second that.
Okay, so the motion is, the amendment to the motion is
Yes.
made and seconded.
Yes.
Any further discussion, right?
right on that. Okay, motion passed. Right?
All in favor?
All in favor? Aye. What do you think, Amy? Aye, okay.
Okay, motion passed. All right, great discussion. Good. Thanks for bringing that, Jen.
We're trend setting a little bit here. I mean, the board hasn't done something like this before. So
that's
it's
great.
kind of nobody really knows what's the plan of attack or how should that process go. How does
Well,
that
and I
need to be
think
done?
this will also help alleviate conflicts of interest such as what happened at Holloway Park. Between 2 or 3 different entities that want to use the same land. So I think that's was the impetus for me in doing this as well, as to define the area, the land, the person, the project, get it approved, get it on the docket, and lock it in. And then the next group can come in, and then we can move through the plan in that sense.
I think it's great, and good job on the checklist.
Okay, I will send that out to all.
Okay. All right, next on the agenda, I have no updates on the youth representative. Does anybody have a comment on that, or?
Yeah, and I had asked the attorneys about it, and basically Haranch, our assistant county attorney, said, unless there's some pre-existing resolution by Broadwater commissioners limiting county board membership to ages 18 plus, it should be fine, which there is not. We don't have a resolution limiting membership.
Okay, so this
So
youth position would be a member,
you could,
an
yeah,
actual voting member.
I don't see why not. If there is a youth member of the community that wants to participate in this board and will show up, I would hold them to the same bylaw standards
Yeah.
of, on 3 unexcused absences. They probably, that'll come back to the commission. But if there's somebody who's engaged and involved,
Okay.
They have to be 18?
no,
Don't. Okay.
they don't.
Okay.
So I will get something written up for Mrs. Heverin, the high school principal, and see what she can do for us for recruiting. Thanks for checking on that, Lindsay.
Yeah.
Okay, update on the BCDC Trails meeting, and I asked Al to come because he's really the one that has all the information, and we've had 2 meetings since. So I would like to ask Al to come to the podium and give us an update, please.
Good evening. Al Christofferson, Christophersen. And yeah, I'm involved in the Trails Committee. So we've had, since we finished the plan and we declared that we had finished the plan back in December through BCDC, we pivoted and are now working on projects. And I appreciate the support of the Park and Rec Board members that are working with us on that committee, because it really helps and it keeps us coordinated, I think, really good. So at the last meeting, I'll run through these just so you have them on your record of stuff. But we started off with the status of our grants efforts. We have submitted a plan to the Trail Stewardship Program that's managed by FWP. Interstate Engineering did that grant application for us. It costs some money to get that done, and I have some reserve money for match money. That was a $76,000 grant. Actually, I think $68,000 grant for the match as part of the grant when it's done. So it's a $76,000 job. If we get that, we're waiting to hear if we made it through the screening yet. Thanks to Carol, a AARP grant for a micro grant was submitted for walking audits. That will include the town and the local trail system around town. We are looking at, George and Lee Weldon have offered to help write the grant for the Montana Fish and Wildlife Conservation Fund. They typically deal with lands, so we have put together a package that includes discussion of the easement along Centerville and the easement on the north side of the river from wherever the bridge goes, the pedestrian bridge. So that we're being looked at that. They're trying to arrange a meeting with that board rep to see if we can be creative and innovative and figure out how to get the wording right to get that in. We are looking at the opportunity to provide a community development block grant. I think the next round's coming up in late April or May. And we would be looking for the county and or the city to sponsor that. I maybe you know, but I don't know if a nonprofit can sponsor that or not. No, it has to be county government.
CDBG, yeah.
So we would be looking to work on either one of their behalf to put what we call a feasibility study together, which would look at Canton, the connector road between Canton and Centerville, I guess the new Mill Road is called, and Centerville, and then the trail north of the bridge that needs to be resurfaced and made safe, along with where to site a pedestrian bridge and an estimate of what that bridge might look like and what it might cost. So that's what that would be for. That would probably be around a $70,000 or $75,000 grant would go to the Department of Commerce. Aside from that, we're trying to look ahead. We know this fall the Recreation Trails program will open in either December or next January. We're trying to look at work that'll go there, and I think that's where the Trails Group and the Park Board, Recton Park Board, have the opportunity to really work together, and that's identify the work that needs to be done out there, and then we can work together and put that grant, sponsor that grant, and get that money to be done for the county.
And that's looking in December or January?
That's, yeah, it would open then. The problem is the pre-planning for that. If there's layout and engineering work that has to go, we need to have that done this summer or fall, so that that's current information when we go to put in for the grant. That's the problem with these grants, is they only open them for a month or 6 weeks, and it doesn't give us time to do all that pre-work if you haven't already done it.
Right.
So that's why we're looking to try and get ahead on these things. We'll be looking at another transportation stewardship or trail stewardship grant, same time, probably next January. We've talked about being the Centerville Road. Problem with the Centerville Road is we're pretty sure we're going to need a right-of-way or easement on that adjacent property, and we haven't initiated any discussions with those folks. So maybe the trail north of the bridge would fall out as the fallback stewardship project to resurface that trail from the bridge to the Cottonwood Road. Because the Cottonwood Road is the termini for the new highway reconstruction whenever that comes. So we've got time to use that. We have gone silent on the Silos Trail because we're waiting to hear on a right-of-way acquisition request.
Are you waiting for, who are you waiting for?
We're waiting to hear when the county gets that right-of-way, because it doesn't do us any good to talk about trails on a piece of property that the county doesn't have yet, or at least management for. So tomorrow at the Broadwater County Trust Board, Carol and I will be making a presentation to the Trust Board for a grant, which is really different for the Trust Board. This is a grant request going to them, asking for some of this upfront money to be able to get those grants, to get the pre-engineering, the pre-work done, and get the grants prepared by a professional firm that can do those kind of grants. Because the one on the asphalt trail out here showed us that there is a lot more work to those grants than we thought we could just pull up around the chair and do a few of them. So anyway, that's going. That was, we brought that up. So we're doing that tomorrow. At the last meeting, we had discussion on a logo for use by the Trails Committee and what that might look like. There was a lot of really good discussion about that. And I think there will be some discussion about the county's logo that has the mountain and the stream.
The seal. The seal.
And whether that's a copyrighted logo, the round one, and whether or not there's that or some form of that might be usable. Because we'd like to have something like that, follows all the swooshes and those kind of things. Yeah, that one right there on your.
Yeah, oh, I know.
That we can embed a hiker, a biker, a horse person, and a canoe on the water. Because that's the extent of our trails that we've put together so far. So that was a lot of good discussion there. There'll be lots more on that. The other up and coming big project is to get the Missouri River Paddlers Trail dedicated, get the signs in and placed, and have a dedication and a float on the 18th of July. We picked a date, said we're going to do that now. So we did that. We're sorry if it conflicts with other things, but.
Big county-wide yard sale.
Is that what it is? Okay, well, that'd be okay. Anyway, so that includes the construction of a double post, 4 foot by 4 foot, 6 feet or 8 feet high sign. And then the sign that goes on that is a metal laminated with a vinyl plastic that Roy was there. He knows exactly what we were talking about. And so we're working on that. We're trying to have a deadline of the 1st of July to have those signs in place so that we're not at the last minute trying to get everything in there. Let's see. Yeah, so there was a lot of discussion on the logistics of doing that event. So a float and a lunch and a pickup trash and the agency people that'll be involved and government people, the commission of the city. We'll try and get everybody there. Our fundraising committee for under the Trails Committee is still small. There's a couple of us working on it. And so we welcome any ideas on fundraising. We did send out there's a Montana nonprofit is holding a one-day meeting in Great Falls on the 7th of July on fundraising events and how to deal with fundraising. So I'm going to try and go to that. So we're working on getting that stuff up and going. We're talking about memberships and those kind of things. So about any of these groups you look at, they've all got membership stuff and partnership and all that kind of stuff. We got to get that kind of stuff up. Then there's an events subcommittee. We talked quite a bit about doing something along the lines of the 250th birthday this summer. Sounds like 4th of July probably isn't a good day to plan it. Everybody's got plans for big stuff. So, but, personally, I don't see the problem. We can call it a birthday celebration no matter when we have it during the year. So we're looking at those. Whether it's a trail run or another deal on the river. But and we did on the 11th, last Wednesday, made a presentation from the Trails Committee to the county commissioners just to update them on where we're at and what we're doing. And the support from them, so I look forward to getting that letter. Our Public Relations Committee, again, most people want to be trail volunteers. They want to volunteer to go do work. They don't want to be volunteers to sit on a committee and do stuff. But I spent most of the day on the phone talking to people about web pages, Trails web page or page under BCDC or a standalone web page, those kind of things. So we're looking at that. And I would be willing to send an email out to our entire Trails email list looking for recruitment of a member on your board if you would like me to do that.
That'd be great.
That would be.
So that's our next meeting is in April. We've now scheduled monthly meetings to keep us on track with all this stuff. We have several times now. Several of us have had discussions that we need to take a big breath and decide we can't do it all right now and stuff. So I think that's a good thing for trying to look at these ones that are coming back next year that we're too short on time to get into this year. The other big one coming up, probably opening, I think it opens about mid-December, runs for 2 months, and that's the Transportation Alternatives Grant, which would be the one we use to fund the Fairgrounds Trail from the edge of town to the fairgrounds. And so part of our request tomorrow is to have the upfront money to get that engineering and that grant written. Even though I realize it's not till next year, if we don't get started on some of this stuff, then we are caught behind like we were this year, and we don't do that. Anyway, I think that was.
Thanks.
Jen, Carol, anything I missed?
Nothing
It was
to
good.
add.
It was a good discussion. It was a very lively meeting, and that's we had 12 people there. We had 12, I think, at the first meeting, and so it's really good to have good show up and lots of good discussion. So
When's your next meeting?
Pardon?
When's your next meeting? April?
April. March, April 9th.
April 9th.
Yeah. 6 o'clock at the lodge.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Okay.
Thanks, Al.
All right.
Okay.
Been busy.
update on Centerville Volunteer Days and briefing of commissioners. So I just wanted to real briefly let the board know that I was able to set up a time with Nicole and Lindsay to get some feedback on holding a volunteer cleanup day on Centerville. And we got the approval to do that. So what we will need to do, based on what Al just discussed, trying to get everything planned out prior to submitting grants, is we probably need to select a date, maybe a couple dates, to do a cleanup day on the Centerville property and try and recruit as many volunteers as possible. But the main thing would be recruiting 1 or 2 people with maybe some heavy equipment, a small bobcat, or I don't even know, backhoe, in order to bury some of the concrete foundation. And I think at the cistern that was there, we'll probably need a couple sawyers. I was thinking maybe Forest Service, because they are always, if they're not on fires, they are certified sawyers. Or we'll take anyone that knows how to operate a saw, because some of the trees will need to be cleaned up and bucked up and piled, and then just anything else. So we'll probably, between now and, I don't know, the next couple of months, we probably need to gather a project list and determine what really needs to be cleaned up out there, how we're going to dispose of certain things, if we can bury stuff, and then go from there. The other thing I think that is worth mentioning, we're going to need to have an area. I don't know if we really need it kind of graded out, but we're going to have volunteers be able to safely pull off and be in that area. And I talked to TJ Gravely and asked him about a culvert needing to be in there, and he said no, we didn't need a culvert, but we would probably need I think he said the commissioners would need to apply for a permit or something to pull off, to have that, like an access, I can't remember what they call it. Approach permit. Yeah, thanks, Wendy. So we're gonna need that, and then I was thinking, depending on who, hopefully we can talk into donating their equipment and time, just to kind of plow an area where we think maybe the parking lot would be, so that people can pull off that road and be in that area safely, so that we can coordinate appropriately for cleanup.
And it would have to be off of Centerville Lane, not Mill, because if we went off of Mill, we would have to have a culvert.
No, he said no culvert.
Even in my previous project plan for the Centerville, he said it was all just burrow ditch. It was not drainage ditch.
No matter what way you.
Yep, because I originally had the parking lot on that end on Mill Road.
Yeah, I talked to him about it.
Okay.
Yep.
I guess I misunderstood that.
But I think for this one, I think it would behoove us to be able to have it closer to the project work area, which is off Centerville, that end of the west end. Away from that S-turn, so that we're not inhibiting anybody there. But I think in accordance with the plan, we, do a prep lot
Yeah.
in that area.
He says location flags for an approach would need to be placed in the desired entrance. Commission would need to apply for the approach permit online or in my office. There's an active approach permit for Mill Road the commission applied for with no activity. Mill Road would require more material to build the approach. I would make a suggestion that the approach is at least 40 feet wide to accommodate the traffic flow. You may want to talk to the commission before you make any plans.
So I will reiterate too that volunteers are covered under the county. If there's any independent contractors working for a service, stuff like that, someone donates time from, like, let's say it's one of the construction businesses.
Yeah.
Broadwater County needs to be added on their own insurance policy as an additional insured. I don't think legal didn't sound like they wanted to go down the whole of liability waivers, but I do think it would be good to have a form to keep track of everybody
Yes.
who is on premise working with their contact information. I would suggest having a project list put together, like you just said it a minute ago. Just kind of addressing like what tasks are going to be done, what not. Disposal is going to be a big one. And then what we need, like what the commission needs to do. If you need an approach for us, let us know.
Okay.
One question, if I might, for either of you two. Would a dumpster be feasible to have out there so that we could put all the tree limbs and all the brush and everything in a dumpster and then take it over to the transfer station for burning, which they, as long as it's all just natural grass and stuff, so,
That's a TJ question.
okay.
And I'm not gonna ask that question because I live with the man.
I'll ask.
I wasn't going to say anything. I was like, I mean, you might have a connection.
That's a conflict of interest for me.
Fair. But,
And
you
it
know,
wouldn't have to be
meal,
one of, it wouldn't have to be one of the really huge dumpsters, obviously, but it would be,
I won't even
Okay.
begin to guess what the
Okay.
answer to that question is. So, I mean,
all right,
I think that
I'll
would be.
follow up.
I have a question. This is Amy.
go ahead.
Does the county, I mean, assuming that with these new facilities that are in the plan, there's going to be a need for, like someone mentioned earlier, ongoing maintenance, maybe an annual cleanup event, maybe two, whatever it is. So I'm just curious about implements, like not necessarily skid steers and stuff, but just like your smaller things, saws, rakes, gloves, some of that smaller stuff. Does the county already own some of that? That would be a starter to use for these events. I think asking for volunteers is great. I just don't know that, asking people to provide all their own tools is necessarily feasible, especially because, again, this is going to be like an ongoing thing. Maybe we talk to local hardware stores and, maybe we get some
Gloves.
rakes and shovels and gloves donated. I don't know, but I just kind of food for thought, how, like, these are all things that are going to be necessary and how do we have them?
Well, and I think that's something that the Parks and Rec Board and the project lead would put together the list of things and then figure out where we want to go, whether we want to ask for donations. And I know we did the saluting branches out at the VA cemetery out there 3 years in a row. Pat Plattenberg headed that. The professional contract arborists that came in, it's Arborists United to clean up trees and things on cemeteries, state cemeteries and national cemeteries, and we ended up going out and getting breakfast things donated, all kinds of breakfast casseroles and gloves from the hardware stores, but each of the different groups of arborists brought their own big equipment, obviously, but we provided the drinks, snacks, first aid station, gloves, basic tools, rakes and stuff like that the non-professional arborists were using to, and we also had some traffic control too, which we might need to do here. So that's, I think, some of those things, Amy, that we could address as we sit down and plan for this.
Okay, great.
Yeah, that's a good question, Amy. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah. Very good.
So I think what, based on the conversation and everything, it's 7:30, maybe what we need to do is have we could have a working meeting to plan some of this stuff, so it doesn't take so much of our regular meeting. It is going to take some time and effort, I think, on each of us to make sure this comes together if we want to have it prepared and ready to go for the grant. Otherwise, it's just going to be sitting there if we don't get this done. So if folks are okay, maybe we could set up another time for another like hour meeting or something to just to organize this.
Just to brainstorm.
Yeah. The folks.
Madam Chair, can I offer a suggestion?
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe as part of that working meeting, maybe the first 20 minutes, 30 minutes of the working meeting would be on site. Because I'm happy to apply for the approach permit on this board's behalf, but I think it would be beneficial if the board can designate the location for the approach, and then I can take the commission liaison out there, because I don't think it needs to be approved by the commission.
Lindsay.
No, I like commission liaison better. Anyway,
idea.
just a suggestion.
No, I think that's a great idea, Nicole, because then it would also give us an idea, or we could walk around and make up the project list also, so.
Would it be predominantly on site, or would you be coming back here to do some?
I think we could predominantly do it on site.
Okay.
If the weather's good. Who knows what the weather's going to be like, and I don't know when folks would want to do this. Open to ideas for dates and stuff.
You want to do it before your next meeting, which is the 20th, obviously, before then?
Okay.
I am gone from the 8th to the 12th. I've got to be in Mountain Home. The 8th to the 12th.
In April.
April, 8 to 12. I mean, I don't have to be there if you all want to do it sometime that week. I've walked that property how many years now?
Well, we could do it.
Pick up all my old flags that are out there.
We could do it April Fool's Day, the 2nd, the 3rd, the 6th, the 7th. We could do it on a weekend. I don't care.
So, what other people would we like to have there to go through it with? Is it, is it a working time for them? Like, what other people would we want there?
It's a board, it would be a board working meeting, so it'd be
just
us.
be
Yeah.
Okay.
And then,
Okay.
I guess, Amy, because you're not retired, we would definitely want to work around your schedule too.
Thank you.
Is there any particular
yeah,
day that's easier for you?
As long as I know ahead of time, I can build it into my a weekday if as long as I have a heads up. We obviously we think it's gonna, if we need an hour, we don't want to do any later than 6 p.m. I suppose we could do evening, or we could do a morning. Again, I can make that happen. I just have to plan ahead a little bit.
Okay.
How's Friday the 3rd?
Does
Yeah, it's a great idea.
Does Friday the 3rd work for you, like mid-morning?
Like 10 o'clock?
Friday the 3rd of April, I am in Billings. Sorry.
That's okay.
That's okay.
This is my birthday
Okay,
anyway.
you
I
throw
wouldn't
out
wanna
a
miss it.
date between now and the 8th. And we'll,
The 8th of April?
8th,
Okay.
yeah.
And not a Monday, correct, Wendy?
What about Thursday the 2nd?
Thursday,
Monday,
2nd. aren't you
working on
I'm good with Thursday. I'm
No.
open.
No, not now.
I could do it in the
I'm making a
afternoon
mistake here.
after 12.
We have a meeting
So-
at 2 p.m. That's probably going to last, my guess is
Okay,
like a
so
2-hour meeting.
2nd is out.
That's out.
Unless we do it after that, but that's up to,
Yeah. I actually can do Mondays now.
You can.
Do we want to go earlier? So, because that is Easter weekend, so if we back up into,
Tuesday or Wednesday.
Oh, it's Easter.
like Monday the 30th, Tuesday the 31st, What does that look like for everyone?
Tuesday the 31st would be good. How about Tuesday the 31st? Could we go in the afternoon? Would that?
Works for me.
Say 1
I won't be here.
or 2.
Oh, you're gone.
Yeah, I'm in Tucson.
You're gone.
That's right.
And I have house in Tucson.
When are you back?
We can go
Get back
as
the 31st.
Well,
that
maybe
night.
we should just set that date and then she'll dismiss it. Because we're going to spend
Okay.
another 30 minutes
Okay.
trying to figure out.
How about
dates.
something, if something in the afternoon, like a little bit later afternoon is doable, that would be great.
On
we can
which date?
do as early as next week for agenda posting. We can go the 23rd to the 27th. I don't know what everyone's schedule is like then.
Next week?
We can go as early as then.
Except for the evenings.
What is, define evenings?
Well, I don't think-
6:30 on.
We wouldn't want to go out there much later than 4 anyway,
No.
just to allow.
I'm thinking like 3:30 or 4 p.m. would be a perfect time if people could do that, if somebody could do that.
What about the 23rd?
I
I
can
don't
do
know.
the 23rd.
Monday night
I'm
or
open-
Monday afternoon?
Yeah, I'm open the 23rd. The 25th, I'm booked.
You said you're
23rd 's-
open on the 23rd?
I am too.
Yeah.
23rd's fine.
I'm good on the 23rd.
Okay, 23rd at 3 o'clock
Perfect.
on
So-
site,
On site.
Centerville.
Centerville.
You said 3?
Yep,
That works.
perfect. All right. Next, good discussion. Update, discussion, and decision on Centerville grants. Al just covered that on the grants that we're looking at and being prepared for this December for the FWP one. So that wraps everything up. Review of next meeting, agenda items, and board assignments. We have the 23rd at 3 p.m. for our working meeting. And then our next meeting is April 20th.
Yes. And, okay, and I have one question for you, or
Yes.
one comment. And my apologies to the board, when I went to this new agenda, I keep forgetting to put the minutes. And
Oh, I was
already
just
talked to
gonna
you
say
about that
approve
in
the
last
minutes.
Oh,
meeting. I
shoot.
forgot to add them. So the next time we meet on the 20th, we'll have
Thinking
to,
that too.
we'll have to approve, because we can't do it because it wasn't on the agenda. We have to
Yes.
approve December's,
Okay.
January's, and March's. My apologies. So I will
Okay.
send them to you, or not for previous review. And then we'll have to get them signed so I can get them up on the computer.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No worries. I was thinking, we need to approve the minutes, and then
No, I wasn't on the
spaced
agenda
it.
yet, so I
So.
moved it over, yeah.
Okay, next meeting agenda. What? Thanks, Nicole.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
We have
So you wanted the discussion on the goals and the mastery of the bylaws.
yes,
You have to approve those minutes.
yes,
We're gonna look at the checklist.
yes.
Checklist.
Um,
I would say discuss decision.
Yep, I usually try and put decisions on all of them, even if we don't make any, just in case.
Okay, thank you.
And then you're probably gonna do an update on the working board meeting, you think, from
Yes.
Yeah, we probably will.
an update? I'll do a discussion decision there too, because I don't know if you need to make any decisions.
Yeah,
Is there anything else that I missed?
That's all I have.
I think that's good.
That's plenty.
We had a lot on this agenda.
Yeah.
Went over a little bit, but
Okay.
great. Okay, just a discussion decision for next meeting date, April 10th, and,
20th? Oh.
20th. Meeting adjourned.
Okay, 7:36.
So at 7:36, yeah,
yeah.
thanks, Jen.
So I think if we just carry that Centerville volunteer days as a internal board project.